Yes, I believe that a good death is a collective sense, depending on cultural, religious backgrounds, things like that. But it's also extremely subjective and individualized. And exploring that early on, um, having these proactive conversations to understand what is a good death for you. I know that I hope to die at home. I hope to have a cat on my bed next to an open window. I hope for, my favorite music to be playing, my loved ones to be present. I guess I should think about who exactly I want, but in general. Um, but it might be the complete opposite for someone I'm working with, and that is valid. Um, and important for me to know, because if I don't know, then I'm going to base off of what I think they would want or what I want and projecting that onto them, which is not right. Um, so having some of these proactive conversations to really understand what is important to you and using your voice and autonomy is really important.
Stephanie, I do want to hear from you really quick. I just want to have one question for Mel. Mel, typically, when do people kind of say, "Hey, I need a death doula"? How do they when is that part for you, where people typically call you? And then I want to hear from Stephanie on her thoughts.
So really quickly, I can share that I don't have an answer. That's always
Good.
very different. I have had a lot of people reach out who are not ready for death doulas, or they think they're not ready. And so we have this conversation of really being proactive and the importance of building a relationship and trust and connection before you're no longer able to engage actively in that process. Um, but I have a lot of people who will reach out just saying, I heard about this. I'm starting to think about it. I just lost my mom. Can you just tell me what a death doula does? What do you do specifically so that I can just have you in my phone book, when the time is ready? I have others who realize that their loved one is at the very end of life and the family is trying their best to support them, but they're exhausted and they just want someone present so that they can sleep, but also knowing that that person who is present has training in understanding what the dying process looks like. So if they, the doula, for instance, feels like their loved one is taking their final breaths, that they can run upstairs and wake them up so they come down and they can be with them when they die.